Hal-Con Day 3, who's tired? But it's worth it! Ew! Amazing. Well, thank you guys for showing up bright and early to our first panel this morning, and it's a very exciting one, especially for fans of Game of Thrones. I think we might have a couple in this room, one or two. Shut up, Kristian. God, he has not left me alone since he got here. Go back to Dublin or whatever. He did say he liked my moon boots in the end. Our first guest joining me here on the stage, he trained with Jim Henson, actually. I found that very fascinating. He's a voice actor, he's very accomplished, and he's very frightening. He's played a couple of characters that have frightened you on television, including The Silence in Doctor Who, and White Walker on Game of Thrones. Please welcome Ross Mullan. That one right there. And secondly, you may have seen him perform last night. Anybody? Rave of Thrones? That's why you're sleepy. You may have seen him on stage yesterday. You may have seen him on the silver screen as Hodor from Game of Thrones. Please welcome Kristian Nairn.
I have the healthy option, you see?
Fuck that. I literally had a cocktail of this and 5-hour energy. So I'm dying, man. Hey guys.
Hello.
How are you? Individually, how are you? He's hungover. And how are you? Okay, I'm bored. No, how are you? Good. Good. Okay, that was a fun game.
That was good.
Hey,
Yeah,
that was really
satisfied?
good.
Well, this is going to work a lot like the Q&As, except we have 2 of them, so it's double the fun.
Woohoo!
So you guys are free to line up there at the microphone and ask them pretty much anything you want. Just no more questions about his prosthetic penis. That was really traumatic yesterday.
This is a different crowd.
That was a prosthetic?
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I had nightmares. I literally had nightmares last night about that and the skewered bunny rabbit.
Oh.
Who was here yesterday for the panel?
Oh, wow.
Okay, so there's... Oh, God. Means I can't repeat my material.
Rerun.
As if I have material. Yeah, so for people who haven't been here, we may talk about some of the same things, so don't fall asleep. And we know you're tired. Well, I'm Kristian
Don't be
Nairn.
shy.
Will I sing or something before people ask?
Yeah.
I'm
Please.
Kristian. I'm from Belfast. I'm a DJ and an actor. I kind of fell into being an actor. I was working as a drag queen, believe it or not. Could you imagine anyone less likely? But that was why I did it, actually, because someone said to me one day, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, really." So that's why I did it, because I'm quite a. Okay, I'm bored. I've got a question.
That's really weird. I just played a drag queen in a film this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We can do dueling drag queens in a new
Yeah.
movie. All new movie.
The dueling drag queens of Westeros.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Don't give George any ideas.
The Real Housewives of Westeros. Hey.
I would love that, actually.
It'd be a great sitcom. Hi. I'm just wondering how you feel about Hodor not being in the next season.
Boo.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to talk about that. It's nice to be able to actually talk about it for once, because I accidentally let it slip in an interview in Australia. I was conned by a journalist. But I've been busier this year than I've been any year in my life. It's given me a lot of time to focus on other stuff. I miss everybody, because it's like one big family. But, I mean, I'm in touch with everybody all the time anyway. And I have a back injury, so, and honestly, it's given me time to be ready for season 6 if we're back, which I'm sure we will be.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. But yeah, it's all good. But obviously, I'd rather be in it.
Yeah.
But these things happen. I kind of had an idea it was going to happen right from the start, because I believe there's a book that we're not really in, so I haven't read them. So, as some of you know.
I haven't read all of them either.
You haven't?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hodor.
Nice t-shirt.
Thank you. My question is for Kristian. What's it like acting with just a one-word vocabulary, and how does it compare with acting, with like scripts and dialogue? And
Yeah, I mean it's completely different. It's a completely different kettle of fish. Really, it's quite intense, you know, because really every sort of facial expression and body movement for me, you have to sort of think about that. But it's also difficult not to overact, you know, because no one really overacts in Game of Thrones. It's all sort of played down quite a lot. But it is intense and it's very tiring. And the directors are super precise about how they want the scenes to play. And I remember having a conversation with Michelle. I said Hodor in a certain way. I think it was a happy way. And she was like, okay, could you make it a little less happy and a little more joyful? And I'm like, really? Like, there's a soundboard somewhere in the world with me saying it in about 70 different ways for ADR, but that was terrible. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's very different, and I just did a role there in a movie with a lot of text, and it's actually really nice. I have to say, I have no desire to do another one-word part. So, but thank you.
Thank you.
I got a question and a comment for Ross. I just got to say, when I seen that White Walker for the first time, that was badass.
Good. It was badass, and it was hard on my ass too, because I didn't have a saddle on that horse, so I was like, get the shot, please. My balls are killing me.
And Kristian, I just wanted to ask, knowing George R. R. Martin, have you read the books? And if not, do you get nervous whenever talking to producers, directors, or whatever, that they might be killing off another beloved character?
I think we all are. There's this myth that when the cast get their scripts, we all sort of like flick through it and say, "Oh God." We're all very nice to George. You know, when you meet him, you tend to buy him his drinks, and he's a very nice guy. He's very sharp. He's got a very sharp wit. And he would do it for badness, you know. He would totally kill you off just for shits and giggles, you know. And I've tried to get information about my character because, as we talked about yesterday, Hodor is a bit of an enigma. No one really knows where he comes from or why he is what he is. And it's like you try to get him drunk and you try to ask him, but he's got this on lockdown, man. He will not talk about it. And it's the same with the producers. They'll give you a little tiny bit of information, but they won't tell you. I've tried, believe me. I'll just totally tell all you guys. So. That's probably why they haven't told me.
Yeah, that's exactly why they don't tell us anything.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I just have a question for Ross. Obviously, your makeup was quite extensive. I'm wondering what that process was and what your wake-up time was to get that done.
Well, I'm in the chair when we're shooting to daylight. I'm in the chair at 1 o'clock in the morning. I know. It's not so bad the first day because, you know, I prepare for it. But leaving the hotel is really odd at like 12 o'clock, midnight. And you see people like all sitting around having a cocktail at night. And you think, that's odd, I'm going to work. So 5 hours in the chair. Then I have to start a 12-hour shooting day at 6 a.m. when the sun comes up. And then it's about an hour and a half to get out of makeup. I get back to my hotel around 8:30. I grab a quick bite to eat. I go to sleep. And I'm up at 12:30 to be in the chair again at 1. So I do that for about 3 days, and then they give me a break. It's not hard on me, though. I don't know why. I operate well with very little sleep, like today. I had very little sleep because I was at Kristian's gig last night, and I'm an old man. And I was like, oh God, it's late. But and my skin is okay with a lot of chemicals and glue all over it. You know, that's really the hardest part. I'm not a claustrophobic person either, and I'm very patient, and I love chatting. So I get on with the makeup team really well. We just put on some good music, some good tunes, and we just, you know, put the makeup on, and I'm ready to go. The hard part is, you know, shooting the stuff, and I'm walking around barefoot in what looks like snow, but it's actually wet paper. And that is actually colder than snow, I think. It's a long, long process, sort of just standing around in wet paper. But yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. I don't mind it. That's my job, so I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Cool.
Hi. So kind of a two-part question. Is George Martin on set a lot, and does he, I guess, input a lot, or does he just sort of chill?
I've never
he
met
tends
him,
to come-
so
Okay.
he's never come on set for me.
Oh.
Dave and Dan, the producers, are always on set when I'm there, and are very vocal, very active in everything that's shot about the White Walkers. But I've never met George. Never met him. No, but I'm only in for a few days, so. But,
Yeah, he really only comes for one day or set visit per season. But he is heavily involved. I think he's heavily involved in all most of the changes and stuff. He sort of has to ratify them, which is obviously it's important because he knows where the books are going to go. Yeah, he does have quite a big input. And as you say, David and Dan, they're very, very hands-on. It's just to make sure it's consistent with one vision, which I think that's why it works so well.
That's awesome. All
you
right,
know.
thank you.
Hello. My question's for Ross. We found one of the most terrifying scenes with the White Walkers so far was when the baby was delivered to them. Just
from
wondering,
last season, yes.
Just wondering what it was like filming those scenes.
Wow, that was last year. It was really funny, actually. I know, it sounds really. I stole the baby, and it was hilarious. And then I was going to kill it, but I didn't. Even funnier. Well, it was really weird because I was just saying to Kristian the other day, we kind of overlapped in our shoot day, and I was supposed to be on set, but they had run over, and Michelle McLaren, my director, she just said, listen, we can't get onto set right away, so let's get on the back of a pickup truck, pretend you're on a horse, we'll bump the pickup truck to make it look like you're riding a horse, hold the baby, let's go. And it was really funny, and I turned to her and I said, this is kind of like she went, student film? And I went, yes, just like that. So it was really cool. I mean, for me, I was just happy to be back because my White Walker that I first appeared as in Series 2 got killed off in Series 3. So I was really pleased that they wanted to have me back and give me a bit of plastic surgery and put me back in the Westeros gear and give me a baby. It was a lot of fun. And I was working with Richard Brake, who plays the Night King. So it was nice to have somebody else on set with me because I'm always alone. And I know. That's why I'm mean and wrinkly and angry. So it was a lot of fun, and we were working with real ice, which I thought was really cool for the first time. And Michelle was like, wow, that's real ice, it's not like plastic. I was like, really? And it was a lot of green screen, but it was still outside. It was cool, and I got to use my horse a lot last year, which was great. I loved it. Riding it through a storm and stuff. We did a lot of options. I think you can find like a outtakes version on YouTube of me falling flat on my face off my horse. And Michelle came over and she was like, are you okay? And I went, yeah, I'm good. She went, great, because that was hilarious. She was like, can I laugh now? I was like, yeah, it's good. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi. This question is mostly for Kristian, but does apply to both of you. Now, as we all know, many, many characters face the chopping block. So I was wondering if any of you two, mainly you where you're a reoccurring character with a face. You have a face too, and it's amazing, but I'm not afraid for White Walkers because you guys are scary. Anyway, so I was wondering if you guys read the books ahead. It's like, oh my God, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die?
I haven't read the books. I said this yesterday, I'll say it for the benefit of the people today. In season 1, because of all the pressure from people on Twitter and stuff, I was like, yeah, I've read the books. I lied, basically, for the first year. Then, what was it the second year? Well, basically, yeah, I haven't read the books. And there's too many characters. I've read the first 3 pages. I was like, who the hell was that again? I have to go back.
Yeah.
And, anyway. However, my mother is a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Hey, mine too.
Really?
Yeah, my mom's read all the books. She's like, how come you haven't read the books?
But so when I got cast for the part, she had already read the books, So we've had many a dinner conversation about what happens in the books, and she told me I was kind of safe up until the end of season 4. But it's kind of strange now because my destiny was always sort of in paper, but now everything's sort of off book, and it is a bit scary. It really is.
We have the same mother.
Yeah, we do. She got around.
Yeah,
She would totally kill me for that, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I was just like wondering.
Cheerful.
I'm a morning person. I was just like wondering if you guys could each share your Game of Thrones audition stories, since they'd obviously be so completely different.
Game of Thrones, what was the question? Sorry?
Your audition story.
Oh, my audition is great. I showed up. I'd done Clash of the Titans with Connor O'Sullivan, who did the makeup originally for the White Walker. And I got a call that said, he'd like to talk to you about a character for a show. And they probably said Game of Thrones. I showed up and met Nina Gold and Robert Stern, and I said, I'm here for King of Thrones. And they went, well, it's actually Game of Thrones. And I went, oh, right, is it a game then? And they went, no, it's actually an Emmy Award-winning show. And I went, okay, great. I'm not going to get this job, obviously. I really screwed that up. I went in, I was fortunate enough to be able to look at all the designs very early on, all the options they were looking at for the White Walker. And Connor and the casting directors were kind of talking to me about different things that they wanted from the character. And they just handed me a cardboard tube, and they said, pretend that's a sword, and just do some sword fighting. So I did that, and then they said, can you ride a horse? And I said, no. And then I thought, well, I'm definitely not getting this. And they said, do you want to ride a horse? And I went, well, I'll go. I'm pretty game if you want to send me out on lessons. And they said, cool. And I got the job. That's how I got it, man. It's really quite simple. Yeah.
Mine's slightly different. Obviously, I had auditioned for a part in a movie called Hot Fuzz, a Simon Pegg movie, about 4. Yeah, that was about 5 years before Game of Thrones started. I didn't get the part, which, for trivia purposes, Rory McCann, who plays the Hound, he actually got that part. It's the same casting director. She called me back 5 years later, which goes to show there's an old sort of adage in actorland, which is there's no such thing as a bad audition. And it's kind of true. Just because you're not right for one part, she remembered me 5 years later. So she called me back via my agent with 15 minutes. I was on my way to lunch with a friend. I got a call saying, in 15 minutes, can you find the child? And I was like, no. No, I have no access to children. So, not for any legal reasons, I have to say. But so we managed to find a 40th birthday party, and there was all these children there. So we selected a suitable child, and I put him on my shoulders, which strangely, actually, I found out afterwards, I didn't tell you this yesterday, he actually had auditioned for Bran as well. So I think they conned him and said, you might have the part, so get on his shoulders, but he didn't get the part. I know it's evil, love it. So I carried him around the garden, and we had people set up around the garden sort of to shout "Hodor" at me, and I had to show that I could react in like multiple different ways and show the facial expression. And then I had to demonstrate how strong I was. And I had to lift a mahogany table above my head, which obviously that is the standard test of strength. And then I got the part. So it's a terrible, terrible audition tape. Like I know how to do an audition tape now, but looking back, it is the most horrific audition tape, and unfortunately it's somewhere on the internet. So yeah, it got out. So yeah, you can have a laugh at that later. You're all gonna Google that now, aren't you? Yeah. Oh. God, even you.
Yes, I am.
Et tu, Brute?
I hope mine's not on the internet. Mine's wielding my cardboard tube.
I have a question for Ross. I was wondering, do you think the silence would ever be back on Doctor Who? Like, would you ever, with Peter Capaldi, would you ever come back and do that character again?
I would, of course. I'd go back on it in a heartbeat. I love working on Doctor Who. It's so difficult to tell if they're going to bring it back or not, because we forgot them right after we saw them. But I hope so. I'd like to think that we kind of left it open in the very last episode with Matt Smith. But you never know. I don't know what they have in mind for it. Like Game of Thrones, they're just don't tell me anything in case I come here and tell you. So, but I'd go back in a heartbeat and do it. I loved playing the silence. It was great.
Thank you. Hello, I have a question for Kristian. Hodor in the books, we don't really know a lot about him beyond that he is a person with a disability and he's virtually nonverbal. I was wondering, because in the series he's more of a hero, I was wondering whose idea it was to make him the character that he is and the hero that he is. Was it actively yours, or was it just kind of something that happened?
I don't really see him as a hero. I mean, I think he's a really nice guy. I think he's just been thrust into a situation where he has to survive. I think that Bran is really... people have asked me before, what's his connection to Bran? Why is he so loyal to him? I think really Winterfell was his only home, and it's been taken away from him. And Bran really is the only sort of connection to that home that he has left, really. And I think he wants to defend him, look after him, that sort of thing. Makes him feel safe. But see, I haven't read the book, so it's hard for me to comment on this. But I know there's only one. The added scene in Craster's Keep, that's not really Hodor though, that's Bran. It's Bran working. So no, I like the changes. I've basically liked every change that's happened. But yet again, I haven't read the books. So
It's okay.
I could be talking absolute nonsense, which is not unusual. I do that quite often. But yeah, so I kind of like it, and I hope it continues. I love the work scenes. They're my favourite scenes to do. So, there you go.
Thank you.
No problem. You have to excuse me. I'm going to have to take some sort of nose. It's not cocaine or anything. I've got corn flu.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you.
This is for Kristian. I've heard that you're pretty good friends with Bran in real life. I was just wondering how the relationship between you two affects your experience on the show and on the set and everything.
It's different when you get into character, definitely. I mean, to be Hodor, the only really way to be Hodor is to be very real. And I definitely feel like he's the Lord of Winterfell when I get into character, But the minute that turns off, it's like Isaac, And he's such an amazing little kid. In fact, he's not a little kid anymore. He's like 10 foot tall. He's getting really... He's just under 6 foot, I believe, which is ridiculous. I think he's coming 15 now. He's super intelligent. He's one of the most intelligent people I know, adult or child. I think he wants to be an investment banker, but before that, he was going to be like a brain surgeon. He's one of those annoying kids that he spends like weeks on set, and his exams are coming up. He doesn't do any revision, and he gets like A stars. It's just like, oh, I hate you. But he's a really cool kid.
Of him.
Yeah, I am jealous.
Of a
yeah,
child.
Jealous of a child. But he's a really nice kid, and we're very good friends. Actually, I would adopt him if I could. He feels like my little brother. There you go.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Good.
Hello.
I was just wondering what you think that Hodor's character could have been like if he wasn't simple-minded. What would his future have been?
That's interesting because that sort of goes into why is he simple-minded and what happened to him. And my belief, as I said yesterday, I'm going to stop saying that, by the way, as I said yesterday. My belief is that it's being suppressed somehow. There's a couple of theories that maybe he's a warg as well, and perhaps he's been warging, and maybe something's happened to the animal or something and his personality's been trapped somewhere. That's one of the theories. That maybe Hodor is a word in Valyrian, or something traumatic maybe has happened to him. Maybe he's been involved in some sort of magical event. He could be like a plant almost. I would love that. Like the whole time, like he's like involved in the White Walkers and stuff like that. He's hiding there, and he's just like sort of arch nemesis bad guy, and just kills everybody. I would like that. A bit dark, really.
What do you think is the case?
Sorry?
What do you think is the
What
case?
do I think? Well, the one that makes most sense to me is there's one of the theories is there's Sandor, Gregor, Hodor, and they're all like big, tall, scary guys. So it could be like one of the lost Clegane brothers, and you know that the mountain from the books, I think he was quite cruel to the Hound as a child. I think he burnt his face, didn't he?
Right.
And like, God knows what he did to Hodor. He could have dropped him out of a window. You know, so that could explain why the mental handicap. Who knows?
Thank you very much.
I think that's part of the fun, though. You know, it's good to be able to speculate about stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's good. My question is for Ross. What character did you have the most fun with, the White Walker or the Silence?
Well, I love the White Walker because I get this horse training for months in preparation. I get like 4 months of just riding on with a stunt man or woman, whoever they appoint me that day. So that's the preparation for that is great. The Silence was a lot of fun, but it was really last minute for me to fill in at the Christmas special that they were doing. For some reason, the actor who they had booked dropped out very last minute, so I got the job very last minute, and I had a great time on set. And then I was brought back to play the Teller this year with Peter Capaldi in Time Heist, and I loved the team. But you know, the White Walker, I'm very fond of it. It's an easier run for me with the White Walker because I can actually see and I can speak.
Yeah.
When I'm playing the Teller or the Silence, I can't breathe properly, and it's like. It's a real challenge physically, but the White Walker, at least I can kind of talk and sit around and, you know, have a good time. Those ones are a little bit more high maintenance.
I actually wish I liked Doctor Who.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like I'm missing out on a party. To me, it's like broccoli for me. I hated it when I was a kid, and I just cannot watch it. I don't know what it is, but I would love to be into it because it looks really cool. Oh well.
I'll see what I can do.
Oh, hello. Hey. Thank you guys for coming. You guys have been fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
My question's for Ross. I was wondering if you could talk about your experiences with Jim Henson.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't actually meet Jim Henson. When I first moved to London in 1991, there was an ad in the paper. It just said, Jim Henson's Muppets looking for puppeteers. And at that point, they had a creature workshop up in Camden in London. I went along to the audition. It was an open call. Got through the first week, and then they said, great, you made it through the first week. They handed us all these Fraggles. Remember Fraggle Rock? Woo! Well, they handed us like a crate of dirty Fraggles. That's the only way I can describe it. They were all like filthy and falling to pieces. They'd hit the skids after their show, clearly. So after that week, they brought Kevin Clash in, who was Elmo, and he trained us. And I kept on the training for about 2 months, and I was really good at it, but I actually didn't like puppeteering. A lot of puppeteering is spending your time with your face in somebody else's armpit, basically, because you're all like that, going, oh, God. And I just said to them at the end of my kind of 2 months, or 2.5 months I was there, I said, you know, I'm an actor as well. I'm probably going to take an acting gig. And they were like, that's not cool, you know? So I felt really bad, but I ended up doing a miniseries called Dinotopia, and Henson was working on that as well, the team from Henson. And I met a couple of guys from that, and I said, you know, I trained with Henson. And they said, oh, we'll put you on the books and maybe you work with us again. Nothing happened, but in 2006, I got a call from the BBC to puppeteer and voice a little blue bear called Nev on a show called Smile. Woo! And then I got a spin-off series called Bear Behaving Badly. And so my puppeteering kind of came to the foray, and they rerun that series loads, and it's a great little cash cow for me, and I loved it. You know, working with the Henson team was amazing. I mean, the Creature workshop was what I remember it. There was loads of old, you know, remember the Dark Crystal? It was like they had loads of those all around the shop and stuff. It was a really magical place. And it's very sad that they shut that building down, and it's now, of course, a block of flats, like everything is in London. It's a shame. But it was wonderful. Really great experience for me. Great memory.
That sounds cool. I'll have to check that out. Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you guys today?
I'm good.
Pretty
fragile.
Right on. Firstly, I want to say I love the Silence and the Teller.
Oh, thanks.
Two of my favorite characters.
Cool.
Secondly, for Kristian, can you speak a little bit about carrying Bran all the time?
Well, it's pretty merciless, to be honest. My first day on set, I just wasn't prepared. I'd done some training. I was told he was going to be on my back, so I sort of trained to you sort of train in a certain way that you've got a strong back. But yeah, the first day I had to carry him on my front, and I hadn't prepared for that at all. It was the scene where Tyrion presents him with the plans for the saddle. And I had to walk up and down Winterfell maybe 70 times, like up and down this hall, get down on my knees, basically do a squat with him in my arms, and then stand back up again. And I was just completely broken. like you hear about marathon runners hitting the wall. By the end of that day, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was. Everything was just like spinning. They had to like put a scaffold of boxes around me when he was down on the ground, so I was sort of getting some support from the wood. But yeah, it's pretty intense, and the bigger he gets, obviously, the harder it gets. We have a double though. There's a double Hodor and a double Bran. So if you see from behind, sometimes it's a little girl called Sam and a big guy called Brian. But that's just to give me some time off, because it's really, really intense. I mean, nothing's fake. Yeah. Like when I'm pulling him through the snow, it's literally, it's not on rails or anything. I'm literally dragging a carcass through paper.
Shredded paper.
Yeah, cool. It's intense.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Good morning.
Hi.
I know yesterday we heard Kristian's version of what we would hear, like what he thinks would be the end of the whole series. But Ross, I was wondering what you how you think it's all going to end.
How it's all going to end. Well, Doctor Who opens it. It's really weird. I kind of haven't really thought about that, actually, because it's such a... I think it'll probably end with peace. That's what I would like it to end with, no? Great peace after a great war and a loss of life. I think, yes, a lot of people will die. I would love to...
It's been death, really, then.
Is it like the Armageddon? I don't know. I kind of would like to see somebody on the throne that's really cool. Like, I don't know, like, yeah, Hodor, or Sam. Sam I would like to see, you know, John Bradley. I'd love to see him. Someone, it'd be really nice, but who knows? I mean, but of course the White Walkers are going to win, of course, and destroy everything, and it'll be an ice world. And then they'll all sing the song from Frozen. Let it go, let it go. Yeah. It'll be like that if it was my book. That's how I'd end it. I hope that answered your question.
Yes,
I've got
thank
no
you.
clue. I'm making it up.
Read the books.
Yes, I shall. I promise, Mom, I will.
Hi, thank you for coming here. My question's for Voss, because if you hadn't guessed by my excitement, I'm British.
Oh, yes.
What was it like playing Ned the Bear? Because I grew up with that.
Well, I mean, I love Nev the Bear. Well, I'll tell you quite honestly, I was so in debt at the time that I took that job that he got me out of debt in a year, so I loved him instantly. But I worked with two amazing presenters. One of them is Barney Harwood, who's currently on Blue Peter. He's an amazing presenter. And Kirsten O'Brien, who was on a television show called Smart, which was an art show. And for 2 years, it was just an absolute treat working with them. Every Sunday morning, we would show up at the studio at 4 o'clock in the morning, And it was all, because kids TV is so clean, and you've always got to stay clean when you're doing kids TV. But of course, when the cameras stop rolling, everything's filth and dirt. And so that was the great fun of it. I loved playing Nev the Bear. He was a lot of fun. He was really adorable. I loved working with Barney, and then we had a spin-off series, Bear Behaving Badly. He constantly farted in my face, when we were working together. So you see, the little bear, well, there's me underneath, and he's always farting. And it was great. I had a great time. It's awesome. I have such great memories, and I'm in touch with all of the people still, so, yeah.
And that's one thing, would you be able to do his catchphrase?
Groovy. Doo-doo-doo. Love you.
Really made my day, thank you.
Hey, my question's for Ross. You do a lot of roles with a lot of costumes, makeup. I'm just wondering if you have any worst stories about getting into the makeup or dealing with any of that.
Yeah, my worst story is Clash of the Titans. That was 40 pounds of prosthetic, and I was blind, and we filmed with real fire and real steam, and it was quite dangerous. We were very high up. I don't even know if it makes the cut or even works in the film, but it was very difficult for us to work in that environment. It was boiling hot. The cameramen were taking off their shirts, and people were, my makeup artist was like, "Are you okay?" And at one point I said, "I'm not sure." And she said, "It's your call. You've got to stop this." Because it was the first day of filming, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you've got the very first day of filming, everybody's very, very, very stressed and very tense about everything going right. And it went very wrong. We overheated, and we had to stop, and we had to be taken off set. They cut open my suit, and it sounded like I was a pregnant woman whose water had broken. It was like a bucket of water had just dropped out of the suit. And Richard Zanuck, who was our executive producer, was on set that day. He's like Hollywood gold. He's worked with Elizabeth Taylor and Marilyn Monroe. And he was like, Hollywood god, came into my dressing room and said, "Are you Ross Mullan?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And he went, "I'm Richard Zanuck, the executive producer." And I thought, oh, fuck, here we go. I'm going to be fired. And he said, "It's good news and it's bad news." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "I'm going to give you the bad news first. We're fucking killing you." And I went, "Yeah, yeah." And he said, "The good news is, it looks amazing. It looks great. We need more of it. How is this going to work?" And I said, "It's got to be a lot cooler, and we got to cool down the studios. I need ice packs." And he went, "I'll stop you right there. I'm going to go out there and tell them that when you speak, that's me speaking. So when you want something, that's me saying that you want something. See? So I'll leave it to you, and I'll just tell them that." And after that, it worked like a treat. And I got to thank that man on the premiere. I went up to him. I said, "Hey, Mr. Zanuck, I don't think you'll remember me." And he went, "Ross Mullan. I didn't fucking kill you, did I?" And I went, "No, you didn't." He's a great guy. Rest in peace, that man.
That's awesome. Thanks, you.
My question's for Kristian. When you were taking over, physically, are we going to be seeing more of that kind of thing?
I would like to think so, yeah. I mean, that's my favorite thing about all the seasons so far. As an actor, to be able to play a switchover in personality, a switchover in facial expression, a completely different character inside one scene, it's like a dream come true. You know what I mean? Especially completely different characters. I just love doing that, and I really hope so. I can't say for sure. I don't know where they're going to take it, but I would imagine that you will. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Hi. My question is for both of you. Since you guys aren't very familiar, I guess since you haven't read the books. What? I don't know. What?
I'm not ashamed.
Good.
I don't care. I've dealt with this.
Well,
How am I the only person who's read the books up here? This seems wrong.
You haven't either?
Well,
Oh, I have.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I have, yeah. I'm the only one, apparently.
Well,
There's books.
My question is, out of all of the deaths so far in the show, which was your favorite character and least favorite or least favorite death, and like the death that you're like, thank God that character is dead.
Yeah, well, that's an obvious one, but my favorite death, and the one that shook me most definitely was, and I actually think she should have been nominated for an Emmy for it, was Michelle Fairley, who played Catelyn Stark. Oh my God,
yeah.
like, when she let that howl out of her, it was just, I
Yeah.
felt it, really felt it, and I thought that was an incredible piece of acting. That was definitely my favorite death, although it was very sad. And well, yeah, everyone wants Joffrey to die.
Yeah. It was delicious when he died.
It really was.
I
But
think I rewound it and watched it again.
But he's such a good character.
Yeah, he is. He's a great actor.
I think
man.
we're going to miss him. You're going to miss
Yeah, yeah.
Joffrey, I think, because we all love to fucking hate him.
Yeah, but his mother's like really hateable too. So it's really,
No,
I love
her.
hating her. I hope something really horrible happens to her.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I love her.
I mean, I love her, but I love hating her.
I actually can see where she's coming from.
Oh God.
You know, I mean, she's come from a very twisted background, obviously.
Yeah.
And she's fiercely loves her children. And she's just trying to survive, man, by killing everybody else.
Oh. Boo hoo hoo.
Well, thank you.
If we can take these last two questions, I think we have about 5 minutes left. Thank you.
Okay, just quickly, I was wondering for both of you, where you've worked on shows that have so much else going on, where it's a real ensemble, how aware are you of the rest of the action, and do you ever watch the shows afterwards and be like, oh, I didn't know any of that was happening at the same time?
Yeah, all the time. I always feel like that on Game of Thrones, hugely. I have no idea, other than my scenes and maybe a little bit, but yeah, I have no idea what's going on until I see it, actually. And I quite like that, actually. I really like it, because I kind of think, I wonder where I'm going to show up. How am I fitting into this, really? When's my piece going to come up? When's this bit going to come out? And I only ever get to meet the rest of the cast at events like this. We did a Comic-Con together in Wrexham in Wales, which you forgot about. Captain Charisma. But yeah, it's great. I think it's really interesting. But I never know what's going on. I want to work in a hot climate. I never will. That's it.
Likewise. You get the entire script. I don't know if you get the entire script, but we get the entire script for all the episodes that you're in. And believe it or not, even as Hodor, I get to go to the read through. And so you sit there, everyone else is doing their lines, I get to go, Hodor. You know. And that's where I get to see what everyone else's part is going to be.
Right,
And I'll never forget the first day I saw Dame Diana Rigg, and she. People kind of get into character in the read through just a little. They don't give it too much. But she was at the end of the table, and she did her first couple of lines as Lady Olenna Stark, and that you could hear a pin drop. It was just amazing, and everyone was just in awe of her. And she's such an amazing actress, and for me, that's really unique when you get all the cast together. And that's one of my favorite parts. You get to see everyone do their stuff.
Cool, fantastic. Thank you.
That's a bit high. It's okay. Hi. My question's for Kristian. A couple years ago, you were on a podcast with the guys from the Yogscast. I don't know if you remember, but
It was me. I might have forgotten him, but that's.
Through it, you guys were doing your impressions of Sean Bean from movies, Goldeneye, and of course Game of Thrones. So I was wondering if you could do one of your impressions.
It wasn't actually me, but that was the first time the phrase "Winter is coming and so am I." That was the first time that was ever said. Oh, was it "Winter is coming"? It's cardigan weather. Yeah. Is anyone else listen to the Yogscast here? Or it's great. You meet people everywhere. At every convention I go to, I always meet some Yog nuts. It's amazing. So thank you for coming.
No problem. Have you actually talked to them since?
Yeah, I have them on Skype. So I have the occasional little message exchange. They're really cool guys, and they're exactly like you would imagine. Even when they're not recording, they're sort of bickering at each other, and yeah, it's really good fun.
Okay, thank you.
All right, those are all the questions we have time for. Thank you once again to Kristian and Ross. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hal-Con!